We're here at the Minnesota State Fair, specifically at the Salem Lutheran Church dining hall, where they make beloved Swedish egg coffee. Jim, I'm really, really excited about this. I think I would be excited about this even if I were not a coffee fan, but it just so happens that probably my favorite part of every day is when I wander downstairs to make the first cup of coffee. So you have to tell me how this got started, at least as far as you know. Is this actually?
I don't know, because I grew up with Swedish aunts and a Swedish grandma, and this is how they made coffee.
This is how they made it.
Yeah.
So is this something that they sort of invented here in Minnesota? Like,
As far as I know, it started in Sweden or in Europe.
Okay.
And they kept it there, and it kind of died out in the 30s, but the people that emigrated here maintained the practice up into the 50s or the 60s. Like I say, my Swedish aunts and grandmas they always made coffee this way. About the time my mom started making coffee, she wasn't interested in it. She had her Silex coffee maker at that time. And that
she wasn't going to put an egg in there.
But it's kept on here, and this is where I kind of started drinking coffee. And this is coffee that I've always liked. I've been in the Navy and drunk some of their battery acid for coffee,
So is this one of the only places that one can get a Swedish egg coffee at
Right
this
now
point?
it is, yeah. There were a few others around here. There were a few other Lutheran churches that had stands out here. They've since just closed them up, and we're one of the last remaining ones here.
The most stalwart of all Lutheran
Right.
Swedish egg coffee producers. So how long have you guys been doing this here?
This booth was set up in 1949.
49.
Okay, I was 2 years old in 1949. So, and I worked here bussing dishes and stuff like that almost continuously. Other than my time in the Navy, I worked here at least 1 or 2 days a year, and the last 20 years has been every day.
When did you start drinking the coffee?
So, probably when I got out of the Navy.
Right, okay.
Because I was never much of a coffee drinker earlier than that, but we drink it in the Navy, of course. You get accustomed to that, but this was just so incredibly mild and so smooth.
I'm so excited about it. Do I get some soon? Yes. Jim, cheers. Oh, and behold, it's glorious. It is. It's so smooth. It's a mouthfeel thing. That's what's going on. It's like an actual, the thing has texture. It's like marble. Okay, so Jim, if you could walk us through the steps of how to make a Swedish egg coffee, one at a time.
Right. When I come here at 4 o'clock in the morning, I get 7 pots, 40 cups each, full of boiling water.
Okay.
Takes a while to bring them to a boil. Then for each pot, you measure out 2 cups of coffee grounds. And it doesn't matter what kind of coffee you use. You can use Maxwell House, you can use Folgers, you can use the economy coffee, whatever you want. Measure out 2 cups, grind the egg into it. Then when the water's boiling, you just dump the whole thing into the boiling water. You got to kind of regulate the heat because it'll tend to want to boil over. Regulate the heat. And as it boils, you'll notice a thick root beer type foam that will slowly kind of thin itself out after about 30 seconds. Once it's thinned out, you just take the heat away, put the cap on, let the ground settle, and within 5 or 10 minutes, it's ready to serve. Every year I go through this with the other TV stations, and they always say, "What's the big secret?" And there is no secret.
Not a big secret. Gotcha. So we can do this. 40 cups of Swedish egg coffee.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Seeing as I'm taking the reins of a truly Minnesotan show, and I'm from Southern California, just a total outsider. I want to hear about Lutheranism in Minnesota. I mean, it's a hotbed of Lutheranism. And you grew up Lutheran?
Yeah.
Your whole family is Lutheran. How does that impact your experience of life in Minnesota, being Lutheran?
Not really all that much. It was just some kids in the neighborhood. We had a lot of Lutheran churches. We had a lot of Catholic churches. So that's just kind of what church you went to. And then I became the organist there for 27 years. And
You played organ?
yeah.
Are you a Bach fan?
Oh, yeah. Oh. But I didn't learn the basic organ literature. I started out as a pianist.
So for someone who was raised in a non-denominational church, I have serious hymnal envy, given the amount of beautiful Bach chorales that that the Lutheran hymnal has in it. Did you guys sing those? Did you
I
accompany those?
I'm not a singer, but the thing a lot of people like about the Lutheran hymnal is all 4 parts are there. And if you want to sing harmony, and you will hear a lot of people singing harmonies in the Lutheran church, music is a really big part of the Lutheran church.
I'm gonna go back to the coffee because I'm fixated on it. I'm actually totally legitimately loving this coffee. I'm dying to know how it got started. Like who was, the texture of
I
our
should really
coffee
know a
is-
little bit more about it myself.
No,
I don't know the chemistry of it, and I don't.
But we
know-
can just surmise how it happened. I mean, I can imagine your predecessors sitting around grousing about their coffee tasting too thin or whatever, and someone saying, "Well, we thicken other things up with eggs, so why don't we throw an egg? It can't get any worse. So let's throw an egg in there and see what happens." Amazing. My son, this would maybe be the way. My son is obsessed with eggs. He's a year and a half, so it's not time for coffee yet. Not time for coffee yet, but I imagine this will be his go-to. This is so good. Thank you so much, Jim.
Hey, thank you.
Great to talk to you.
Okay.